So I get numerous questions all the time about our Thrive Life freeze-dried food and whether it's healthy or not. Questions like, is it organic? Is it non-GMO? Is it gluten-free? And more recently, does it involve mRNA technology? Let's talk about that. Well, hey folks, this is Bill with Live Simple, Live Free. And regarding freeze-dried food, I get it. Many of you are very concerned, and rightly so, about your health and about the things that you eat. And freeze-dried food is an unknown. It's new, and a lot of people assume that it's not real food or that it was real food and everything's been stripped out and it's not healthy. So I want to talk about some of those things. Now, if you're new to our channel and you're not familiar with Thrive Life freeze-dried food or how to cook with it, we have a playlist with many cooking videos demonstrating how Elizabeth and I use it and how we cook with it on a daily basis. I'll put a link for that playlist right up here and also in the description down below. Check it out. Lots of great videos, lots of great recipes there. First of all, it's all Thrive Life freeze-dried food is non-GMO. There are no added preservatives, no added chemicals, nothing that you can't read, that you can't pronounce. When you see a can of green beans and you look at the ingredients, green beans, nothing else. It's very healthy. In fact, I'll talk about this a little bit later, but it's actually healthier than the fresh produce that you can get at the grocery store. Seems like a bold statement. I'll prove that to you at the end of this video. But for right now, I want to talk about one of the biggest questions that I get all the time. Is Thrive Life organic? Now, not long ago, I was able to team up with Lisa Sutton from Sutton's Days, the channel Sutton's Days, and we met with Eric Morgan, who is the president of Thrive Life, for an interview. And he talks about whether Thrive Life is organic or not. So I will go to him. But first of all, just let me give you the short answer. Yes, it's organic. No, it's not certified organic. That is because uh, adding the certification, the only thing it adds is extra cost. And Thrive had an organic line for a while, and quite frankly, it just didn't sell, probably because of the added cost. And so they had to drop the line because it was just sitting on the shelves. So instead, they decided to self-certify for organics so that they don't add the extra cost. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's let Eric tell you about that.
Okay, awesome. One question that I'm going to toss in here real quick is Brenda Jackson says, does this mean the food is organic?
It's a good question. We get that question a lot. And Bill, I don't know if you, because I know you get that question a lot. Do you want me to address it or do you want to?
I heard you answer that question the other day, and you could do a much better job than me. So go right ahead.
Well, so basically, with organic, we are not certified organic. I'll just say that up front. We're not certified organic. However, I will put a little asterisk there because we've purposely chosen to not go down the certified organic route, mainly because it is a cost issue. We tested that side to side. It's been several years, but we tested that side to side, and the amount of people, or the amount, how would I say it? We just determined in our test that people aren't willing to pay more for that certification. Now, the other thing that I will say, because there's a lot out there with quality and certifications, not just like GMO and gluten-free and of course organic. There are lots of certifications. It doesn't take away anything about our quality. So right. What I was explaining when I was with Bill the other day, and we were with another customer, our standards, our Nutrilock standards, are just as high as any of those certifications. We just choose to self-certify instead of going with one of these third-party companies. So if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that's a great explanation.
So Eric says that Thrive Life food is organic. It's just not certified organic, and they do that just to keep the price down for you, the consumer. And so they decided instead to self-certify through a process that they have that's called the Nutrilock Promise. So what exactly is the Nutrilock Promise?
Yeah, that's very cool.
That is amazing. Now, one of the things, and I apologize because I'm going to mess up the name, Nutrilock.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. Can you
Yeah.
explain to us about Nutrilock?
Yeah. Yeah. So again, Bill, feel free to jump in here as well. When we went to freeze drying, we did that because we wanted to own more of the process. And still we don't own the entire process. We don't own the farms. We don't own those suppliers. But we felt like we have to have a process that we feel comfortable with, start to finish. And when I say start, it's before what we would typically think of start. It's before anything is planted,
Right.
before and all the way to the plate. So this is what we came up with, this Nutrilock certification, that we had food scientists involved, we had suppliers involved, we had all of our, I said food scientists, our R&D, but even into the testing phases after it's produced, our QA, and we all sat down to say, what is the best process start to finish? And we listed everything we could think of to say, how do we be the best in this category? How do we be the best in this category? And that's what we came up with. The Nutrilock process, or the Nutrilock certification, is going through start to finish. There's 40, is it 41 steps? I should know, but it's 40-ish steps of
Yes,
saying
41.
thank you, Bill. Every step along the way, it has to meet this criteria. If it doesn't, we don't certify it.
Nice.
Either that means we don't continue to produce it and we sell it to someone else, maybe a competitor or someone else, or we produce it but we don't put the Nutrilock certification on it. That's what we've said.
So
that
go ahead.
that really brings out the quality in the food, and Thrive Life really is the best quality of food. I signed a consultant a little while ago who had a very large food storage from another company, and I won't tell you who, it doesn't really matter, but she tasted Thrive, and as soon as she did, she took her entire long-term food storage pantry from the other company and gave it away.
Oh,
and
wow.
She started all over again with Thrive. She said, why would I eat that inferior stuff? How can I eat that after I've tasted Thrive? And that's because of primarily, I think, because of the Nutrilock system and the production standards for Thrive Life.
Yeah, it's true, Lisa. I know you know this already, but we kind of, this might sound silly, but we kind of pride ourselves in turning away certain things.
Yeah.
And that doesn't always bode well for inventory. But I'm thinking just a recent example. Well, peaches. Peaches, it's a pretty recent example. They're back in stock now, but for a while they were out, and we were scrambling trying to find. Our regular supplier didn't meet our standards, and so we were trying to find other suppliers. And people want our business. They want to be attached to Thrive Life. So we're getting different specs. We're getting different phone calls, and we went a while without supplying peaches for that reason. We'd either get it from the farm and we'd reject it, or it would come through and get to a certain point and we'd reject it. But that's I know it sounds weird to take pride in rejecting things, but that's kind of how our team looks at it.
No, you should, because if you're not putting out top quality, then we're not getting top quality. So that gives me a level of comfort. One of the things that I've said is there is no place else that you can get the variety that you can get from Thrive. Thrive has the largest variety. And I know that that's narrowed down quite a bit over the last few years. Just, supply, demand, what people are actually purchasing. Have I mentioned I'm a little bummed about shrimp? But anyway, so it's, I get it and I understand it. But Thrive definitely knowing that the quality control and that the bar is set that high, that far back in the process, just gives me a level of comfort for what I'm actually going to be receiving.
That's
So
awesome.
that's awesome.
I do want to hit on the number of products that we have, because that is something that that, like you mentioned, we've reduced quite a bit, even though we still have the largest variety.
Right.
But part of that is because every time we add a product, it adds cost to
Yes.
to our facility, right? But so that is something that we look at pretty closely, especially in the last couple of years. We've looked at closely, not necessarily to take product away permanently, but maybe to introduce it intermittently, and that helps us with costs.
Yep.
And it helps the customer, because we can stock up on food. It would be easier to say, okay, so shrimp is back. I'm gonna buy this much because I know it lasts this long.
Right.
And that's kind of the thought there with
And
a
so
number of
that's
items.
the things that you have marked limited time or special offer, like the cake bites are a special offer. So having those things come in and out
Exactly.
helps everybody.
Yep, exactly.
Okay. Awesome.
Thrive has also been getting a lot of question recently about whether they use the new mRNA technology or vaccines on their food. They do not. And so here is a statement that they just recently published. Customer service seems to be getting a lot of phone calls asking if we use a product called Edapeel on any Thrive Life products. Thrive Life does not use this on any of our produce or anything in our product line, nor do any of our suppliers or farmers. Edapeel, as an FYI, is used by some farmers and suppliers in the world to prolong freshness for fruits and vegetables. We also receive inquiries about a vaccine called mRNA and if we use it on any of our products. Thrive Life does not use the mRNA vaccine, mRNA technology on any of our products, nor do any of our suppliers or farmers. Another question that I get all the time is whether Thrive Life has anything that's gluten free. Yes, they do. In fact, most items are gluten free, but just like the organic, it's not certified gluten free because, once again, certification process costs extra money and it would add cost to the product that you're going to buy. So they've elected not to certify it as gluten free. But here's how this works. Think about it this way. What is gluten? It is the protein found in wheat, barley, and rye. So if you go into the grocery store, into the fresh produce section, everything that you can buy in there, all the fruits and all the vegetables are just completely naturally gluten free because there's no wheat in them. And so all of Thrive fruits and vegetables are naturally gluten free because there's no wheat in them and there's no additives. There's no wheat added to them. So many things you buy at the grocery store, I don't know why, but they just add wheat to things just as a filler, or I don't know. But fruits and vegetables are naturally gluten free, so you're not going to have an issue with that. The only thing that in Thrive that might have gluten in it is something obvious like their bread mix or some of their Thrive meals. These are pretty good meals that just come in a package and you just pour water in and it's ready to eat. But some of those have pasta in them and things like that, which obviously has some wheat in it. So if it's naturally gluten free, then Thrive Life foods are naturally gluten free because there is nothing added. Now, if you want to check and see if any particular item has wheat in it, or the sodium content, or anything else, sodium is another thing that's never added. But you can see all of the ingredients and of the packaging. You can see uh, the calories, the serving size, the number of servings per package, all of that on the website. Let me show you how do you do that. If you go to my Thrive Life website, and there's a link in the description below, this is the home page. So if you go to shop, We're just going to pick something. Going to go to vegetables. Now let's look at the asparagus. Now to do this, you want to click on the picture, not on the quick shop. The quick shop just brings up the prices. If you click on here, it gives you all the information that you need. So here you see the retail price, you see the delivery price if you're on the monthly delivery service. Now, here's the picture. Right down below, there are some thumbnails, and one of those thumbnails is always the label on the can. So you can see it right here. And this will give you all the information that you need, including down here, ingredients. It just says asparagus, nothing else. So that's where you find all the nutrition information. Now, at the beginning of this video, I made a pretty bold statement. Remember, I said that Thrive Life freeze-dried foods are more nutritious and more nutrient dense than that beautiful fresh produce that you get at the grocery store. So how can that be? How can I be so confident of that? Let me tell you the process. When you see those things in the grocery store, many of them look really beautiful. But in order to get there like that, they're actually picked before they're ripe. That means they don't have the opportunity to develop all of the vitamins and nutrients that they should have in them, because I think most of that develops within the last few days or week before it's actually ripe and ready to pick. So they pick it before it's ripe so that it won't spoil before it gets to you. And then it goes through a process, depending on the different products, anywhere from a few days to a few weeks, even to a few months to get to the grocery store. And as soon as you pick any kind of a fruit or vegetable, any of the nutrients that are in there start to deteriorate. And I don't remember the percentages anymore, but a very large percentage of things like vitamin C and other vitamins are just gone after a few days or after a week. So by the time that food gets to your grocery store, it sits there for a few days, gets to your home, sits on your counter for a few days, there's not much nutrition in it left. Even though it looks beautiful, there's just not much nutrition in it left. Thrive Life, however, is different because they wait until after it's ripe and ready to pick. They don't pick it early. And as soon as they pick it, within 24 hours, it has been cleaned, chopped, and frozen to 20 below zero Fahrenheit. That locks in all of the nutrients, all of the vitamins, all of the phytonutrients, all of the enzymes. Everything is locked in there. And then it is shipped at 20 below to the freeze drying plant, where then it is shipped, it is frozen to 40 below and put into the freeze dryer. And the only thing the freeze dryer does is create a vacuum. And when that happens, it just draws all the moisture out. Everything else remains. All the moisture is gone. Everything else is still there. And then they put it into a can, seal it, and that is good for 25 years because there's no moisture in it. But as soon as you put the moisture back in it, just hydrate it, it comes back to life. All of those vitamins, all those nutrients are still there. It's considerably more nutritious than that beautiful fresh produce that you see at the grocery store. In fact, comparing Thrive Life foods to the grocery store, Thrive Life strawberries have 82% more phytonutrients. Thrive broccoli has 52% more vitamin B, and Thrive raspberries have up to 52% more phytonutrients. So you can see that the increased nutrition in Thrive Life freeze-dried foods is really significant. And those were just 3 products that I showed you. All the others are the same way. It's much healthier than fresh produce from the grocery store. Now, if you're going to go to a farmer's market and buy something a day or two after it's picked, then it's going to be similar to Thrive. But the grocery store, no, it can't hold a candle to Thrive Life's food. So, I hope that has answered some of your questions about what Thrive and about what freeze-dried food is all about. Like I said at the beginning, Elizabeth and I use it every day. We use it probably 50 or 60% of our cooking is with Thrive. And because it has a 1-year shelf life after you open it, it's great for everyday use. And after you open it, you still don't have to refrigerate it. but because it has a 25-year shelf life unopened, it's also great for long-term storage for emergencies of any kind. Thrive Life is also a great home-based business. You can just earn a few extra bucks, or you can earn a full-time income like Elizabeth and I do from Thrive Life. If you're interested in that, just go to the website, link below, and click on Join Us at the top of the homepage and follow through with the process there to become a consultant. If you have any questions about that, I'd be happy to talk to you. You can email me also in the link below, and we'll set up a time to talk about that. I would love to talk to you. And of course, as with any home business, there's no guarantee of how much you can make, and it would depend completely on how much you apply yourself and how much you work at it. But anything is possible. So, like I said, I hope that answers some of your questions. You can see our link down below for our Thrive website. So, thanks for watching. Live simple, live free, you be blessed. We'll see you next time. 4-Day Homestead says, I cleaned out an elder's fridge, had to toss 2 drawers of fruits and veggies. I mentioned Thrive Foods. She's actually saving money and eating healthier. S. Hess says, the chopped onions from Thrive are a total go-to for me. I never have to dash out to buy an onion for a recipe. And this comment from Restore Them is perhaps one of my favorite comments. They say, this is a great video, Bill. A lot of good information, and I love the ease with which you made the soup. I am trying the ground beef and chicken in so many recipes, and we absolutely love the fact that there's no waste and it saves so much time. I love that I don't have to fry the hamburger and make a mess anymore. The ground beef is my favorite. Thank you for making this informational video. It's great. In the long run, using Thrive freeze-dried food really does save so much time and money. Well, thank you, Restore Them. She really does get it, and she's experienced it. Thrive Live freeze-dried food really does save so much time and money.